Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. It's been 3 months since episode 74, but there's still some debate as to whether or not Titan Cameraman survived. But that's not the most important thing in this issue. The viewers are even more interested not in the fact of what happened to him, but the lack of an answer to this question for 3 episodes already. Do cameramen have no ways to check it and tell us the truth? So there is a logical guess on the internet about what happened and how it happened. And it turns out that the answer to this can be obtained very easily. A little later, I'll explain what they meant, and we'll see if we should believe this theory or not. There is also a rather interesting concept about the relationship between Secret Agent and G-Man, and it's not hard to guess from the thumbnail what it is. And no, this concept is not just based on one well-known fact that everyone knows about. Believe me, there is much more evidence. By the way, at the beginning of the video, you probably noticed that today is not an ordinary video, and it means that on your screens the 4th issue of your theory's analysis. Let me remind you that in this section I answer your questions and parse the most popular theories for truthfulness. Be sure to check out the previous installments if you missed them. Playlist will be waiting for you at the end of the video. You can also put like and subscribe. Anyway, here we go. You remember the first time G-Man used energy spheres. First the yellow one with no special properties, and then the purple ones, thanks to which he took control of Scorpion's body parts, the claws, and only those that came into direct contact with the spheres. Therefore, it is impossible to take control over the entire body of the Scorpion through the claws. But there's something else that's important here. We have seen 2 books describing TV Man's technology, and how the violet radiation in TV Woman's head are able to take control of a target. Therefore, the violet energy sphere is the scientist's development, combining TV Man's and Skibidi Toilet's technology. But what about the green one? If the secret agent had given the scientist his, he would have used invisibility, smoke-free teleportation, hacking, and cancel hacking against agents, which we haven't seen. And G-Man would have gotten more upgrades associated with it. So the secret agent didn't transfer his technology to the scientist. But then how did G-Man use the green energy sphere? The only other option is that the secret agent himself helped G-Man, especially since we saw him teleport with a distinctive green glow afterward, meaning he was present when the green sphere was used. But why would the secret agent want to help G-Man? If he is against Astro, why would he save G-Man right before their invasion, resulting in critical damage to the Titan Cameraman and Speaker Man? Dafook himself recently answered this question himself. It is possible to defeat the Astro by knowing their weakness. And who knows the Astro better than their former commander who possessed an entire Titan, G-Man? Only the scientist. But why did the secret agent kill him? As I speculated earlier, the secret agent gave the TV Man's technology to the scientist so that the Skibidi Toilets would form an alliance with the Alliance long before the Astro Toilets invaded. But the scientist betrayed the secret agent and paid with his life. Why TV Man's technology? We've already seen that the TV men, particularly their Titan, are the most aggressive towards the Skibidi Toilets. And when their technology is needed in an alliance against Astro Toilets, they won't provide it. As for the secret agent's alliance with G-Man, judging by his lack of surprise at his use of the green sphere, they've been cooperating for a long time, as they have with the scientist. However, his reaction to the scientist's TV woman mech being captured, i.e. his death, suggests that the secret agent clearly did not inform him that he had killed his comrade, and this may come back to haunt him in the future when G-Man finds out. Speaking of the scientist's death, judging by the fact that we haven't seen any clones of advanced Astro Toilets, the Skibidi Toilets don't possess such technology. But then, how do we explain the huge difference in the scientist's size between his first and second appearances? Probably the same as the next time he appeared. Then he got even bigger, the size of a G-Man, and it turned out he'd been piloting mechs the whole time. So what prevented the scientist from building a smaller mech as a prototype to test its performance and secure itself with additional armor and weaponry? Nothing, really. The Skibidi Toilets have the technology, and it explains the difference in the scientist's size. But how could he have survived? Well, we saw in the attack of the women agents and the big cameraman on Mech 1.0 that the scientist's mechs, unlike G-Man's fakes, are piloted from the tank. rather than the head. That's why he survived when the TV Titan destroyed the head of Mech 20. Similarly, the scientist could also survive a crushing shake from Titan's speakerman. Has something like this happened in the series before? Yes. Simp has survived critical damage, and Plunger has survived multiple times. And in an interview with Steak before the 74th episode, DeFook said that Plunger would be back again. As for the secret agent, it turns out that even his plans don't always come true. Or does he? Consider the cameraman in red and his arrest. So now the secret agent has to eliminate him as a witness? To that, DeFook said everything was going according to plan. So this was all planned from the beginning. But for what purpose? If you think about it, the lucky cameraman was arrested by the detective, so he must have a good reason. Evidence. He had compiled a dossier on the secret agent and was investigating the murder of Plunger and the other agents who had died under mysterious circumstances during the campaign against the scientist. Incidentally, the use of the hacking device was captured during the broadcast, as was the moment before the Titans' battle with the fake G-Man. When the policeman turns sideways to the cameraman, it's clearly visible that he still has one projectile left to finish Red off with, which also raises suspicions. All of this makes Red the perfect candidate for incarceration. Why? To gain access to all the evidence, information, and agents involved in the investigation against the secret agent and eliminate them all at once. It's possible that after the detective gives up the location of his workplace, then the secret agent will teleport the twins right there to get rid of evidence and witnesses, or use his powers to free Red Cameraman and order him to kill everyone. But will Red go for it? And the twins? So far, they've had to deceive their comrades in order to achieve victory over an enemy superior to the Skibidi Toilets, the Astros, but we've never seen them outright kill their own. Especially Red, who violated secret agent's orders and came to say goodbye to Plunger. If the secret agent were to order him to do something like that, he would go against him. But it's not a given that both Gemini and the other agents we haven't seen yet will do the same, which could lead to a major conflict with casualties on both sides. But will it come to that? We've already seen Secret Agent hacking into Cameraman broadcasts. They can do the same to Red and the detective and his agents. So the secret agent won't even see where his agent has been taken or what's being done to him. Speaking of seeing, you've probably wondered how agents see and hear. The cameramen are clear. They have cameras that record and broadcast sound and images. But what about the speakermen? They don't have eyes, since we've seen that the radiation from the TV men doesn't affect them, unlike the cameramen. We can assume that they use echolocation, that is, they emit sound, and then when it is reflected back, they perceive a sound picture of their surroundings. The same might be true for TV men constantly emitting white noise, but there are several critical flaws in this theory. The first is the speed of sound in air. It is only 350 meters per second. Is that a lot or a little? To see their surroundings a kilometer away, they would need as much as 6 seconds. 3 seconds for the sound to travel there, and 3 seconds back. In doing so, they would have a huge delay at all times. In short, such speakermen are practically myopic invalids, and the reflected sound would turn into battlefield nonsense, full of gunfire, explosions, and other numerous powerful sound sources. With TV men, the situation is different. The speed of light emitted from TVs, as well as interference, is not a problem compared to the lack of a visual organ to perceive the light emitted. Moreover, both factions also wear headphones, thus depriving themselves of hearing for orientation in space. Or do they? There is a kind of headphones called active headphones. They muffle loud sounds and amplify soft sounds. Judging by the fact that the headphones worn by the cameramen don't muffle all ambient sounds but protect their hearing, that's what they wear. And with them, the other Alliance factions and possibly even the Skibidi Toilets who steal Alliance technology, including the headphones we saw a sample of in the stolen goods warehouse. And while it's an interesting detail, it doesn't solve the rest of the problems. So, it's not about the sound. More specifically, since all factions wear headphones, they all have hearing, the device of which may be hidden inside the case to further protect such fragile equipment. But it is not hearing that speakermen and TV men see. With what then? By the same thing that gives to TV men radiation, and to speakermen, sound. It's their energy. Apparently, it is much more complex than we imagined, and gives agents not only their characteristic abilities, but even sight to those who are deprived of it. Speaking of vision, why don't the cameramen just hook up to their Titan, like in 51, and see what's wrong with him and where he is, so they can go to support him? Couldn't just have DeFook just ramp up the intrigue out of nowhere, could he? Well, yes and no. But let's turn to an explanation that fits into the show's plot. First, Titan Cameraman hasn't been repaired in over 10 episodes. In that time, he's managed to get set up by a kamikaze blast, get acid blasted, almost saw his head off, get blasted by the buff mutant, G-Man, and finally Astro. Despite not taking critical damage, as the last time we saw Titan Cameraman, his camera was still working. However, all of this couldn't favorably affect another device, the transmitter, essentially the antenna that transmits image and sound. The second possible explanation is interference. Just as the secret agent jammed the Astro's communications, the Astros could have jammed the cameraman's communications, at least with their Titan, to prevent it from receiving reinforcements. In my opinion, the first reason is more plausible because during and after the Astro invasion, we repeatedly saw cameraman broadcasts on their personal tablets. What do you think? Write your theories in the comments. Put like if you liked the video, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. That was Iron Cameraman. Bye-bye, friends.